Hey guys, it's Generalkidd here. How's everyone doing today? So, as you all know by now, Halo 2 is now on PC through the Master Chief Collection, and we got quite a long video here for today, so we're going to get right into it. So we're going to be taking a look at what works, what doesn't work anymore, what works worse, what works better. And starting with what works worse, well, it's kind of a doozy this time for the launch of Halo 2 on PC, on MCC. So, by now, a lot of you have probably heard of this issue through Twitter, through Reddit, through wherever you get your Halo news, but there's a lot of weird issues with projectiles in Halo 2 Classic multiplayer right now. Sometimes your projectiles would just simply vanish and go like nowhere, as you just saw there, but that's kind of like the tip of the iceberg. The most infamous one is where, for example, the shotgun, if you shoot the ground or some other random spot, you might get a betrayal or you might kill someone from across the map. So let's take a look at here in slow motion. See, this person was shooting the ground and then he betrayed a teammate, fired again, and actually got a kill on an enemy. And that's like shooting straight down to the ground. And for some reason, the projectile is basically teleporting to some random person on the map. And it's the same with grenades too. See here, I'm throwing 2 frag grenades and it looks like they're going through the ground or like not spawning at all, but they actually, I believe they go like underneath or they teleport somewhere else as well, because you can hear them like exploding off the map. And then there's another issue there where you saw picking up weapons sometimes gets delayed and the weapon doesn't show up in your inventory right away. But yeah, that's just basically multiplayer bugs, but I'm quite confident those will be fixed very soon. That's not something that usually gets left broken for a long time. It's pretty critical, I think. But this next bug is with the energy sword and anniversary graphics, and this actually affects PC and Xbox. But now, when you look at this tank here on a mission Oracle at the beginning with the energy sword, whenever your sword like kind of overlaps it, it becomes invisible, it just disappears. I'm pretty sure it wasn't always like that, so that's why I put on something that works worse. So this next one, this is actually more so on the Xbox version, because on PC, if you have really good hardware, you won't really notice it. But this was a new update on Xbox, and now the frame rate on some parts of certain missions, like this one, is pretty bad. You can't really see it in the video too well, but whenever I look down at that room, the frame rate drops a lot. And it's also the same on Delta Halo. If I look at that bridge thing, the frame rate also drops. It's not, like I said, it's not really easy to tell through this recording, but it is definitely noticeable in gameplay, and there's probably other missions too. Now, back to just strictly PC. nVidia GPUs have quite a few issues actually with rendering things in-game. So, for example, on Cairo Station, all of the plants are pretty much gone, like dead. It's pretty much devoid of life as far as plants go. Like you see like all the dirt here, but there's no plants at all. They all just aren't rendered. And just as an example of what it's supposed to look like, this is on an AMD GPU. Yeah, so you can see all the plants rendered just fine where they're supposed to be. Plenty of foliage. And it's the same also on the mission outskirts. The palm trees here, they're also like dead. It's just the trunks. That's it, no leaves at all. And it's pretty much all the palm trees on the mission Metropolis. I think I said outskirts earlier, but I actually meant Metropolis. On outskirts, I'm pretty sure the palm trees are fine. It's not like the entire game. It's just certain missions or certain maps where certain plants don't render correctly. And if you remember, like Halo 2 Vista on PC actually had a similar issue with trees on Delta Halo, but we'll talk about it later. Now, nVidia is not the only one with issues. AMD also has issues. Different ones though. They have a lot of issues with stuff like glass and mirrors, or not mirrors, like windows. You can see like the lighting through the glass, and it just looks it's not rendering properly. And on Oracle, it's also very noticeable. And this is all on anniversary graphics. With nVidia, the issue is in classic graphics. All the plants render fine in anniversary graphics from nVidia. And then on AMD with anniversary graphics, a lot of transparent glass stuff just have a lot of buggy rendering. In fact, from what I've heard, what I've been told, now these clips are from the insider build. My friend actually recorded these for me, but he told me that they're actually still present in the final game. but I don't have an AMD graphics card to test, so I do want to thank him for those clips. But what I've been told so far, it seems like Intel HD graphics is the best way to play if you don't want any graphical issues like those. But anyways, moving right along, the next bug is with the scoreboard not showing up in multiplayer. Like, you press the back button to show the scoreboard, oftentimes in Halo 2 Classic multiplayer, it just doesn't show up. Your screen goes, the HUD just disappears, which is actually kind of a cool feature. I mean, it's a bug, but it's kind of a nifty feature. Sometimes it'll show up, but sometimes it doesn't. Now, Halo 3. Technically, it's not Halo 2, and it's on Xbox as well. But the Halo 2 update on Xbox that coincides with the PC release, it broke Halo 3, like, a lot. So, this is not, like, really rare either. This is pretty common to come across, but in a lot of Halo 3 matches now, after maybe, like, halfway through the game, the match just completely, like, goes bleh. Everything just goes weird at that point. Vehicles spawn turretless, and if you try to drive vehicles, you actually end up remote controlling them, as you saw there. It's almost like a self-driving ghost piloted vehicle, but you're actually remote controlling it, and it moves based on how you move. It's actually a really cool glitch, and like, I swear, like, a long time ago in the early days of Halo 3 on the Xbox 360, I had a bug like that before, but I could never reproduce it until now. But yeah, so that's it's pretty bad issue there. And Valhalla is even worse on Halo 3. This whole map is pretty much corrupted. Most of the times you can't even get into a game on Valhalla, but on the rare case you do, a lot of the shaders, like, and textures and stuff on the map are all, like, black, as you saw there. In addition to the vehicle glitch that you saw in a previous clip. But most of the time when you load in Valhalla on multiplayer, it works fine on solo, you know, just doesn't seem to be any issues. But on multiplayer, any kind of multiplayer, even like custom games and stuff like that, once you load in, you know, you'll get that issue where, like, the whole map turns black, and then your whole game freezes and you get kicked out to the home screen. And it's the same with Forge too. It doesn't really matter the game type or the game mode. It's as soon as you spawn in, everything turns black, and then very quickly the game will freeze and you'll get kicked out. And don't even bother with theater mode. Most of the time the clips don't even save in theater mode, but on the rare case that you do get a clip in theater mode, you pretty much get, like, stuff like this, and the clip crashes and the game crashes. But my friend Photos Chaos was actually able to grab a couple of screenshots in theater mode of what the rest of the map looks like with that glitch. Now, that's just what works worse. Next up, we got what doesn't work at all, for the most part. Or basically things that still need to be fixed. Not all these are new issues. A lot of them have been around for a while and still haven't been fixed yet, so I hope these all get fixed soon. But, you know, the stuff that works worse, like the Halo 3 glitches, don't worry about those. I'm sure those will be fixed very soon. That's they've already announced that they're working on those fixes. But anyways, Elite's dual wielding still doesn't work in Halo 2 for the most part. You might see a couple dual wielding plasma pistols, but for the most part, Elites, even like bosses like the Heretic Leader, they won't be dual wielding anymore. There's also missing sound effects in classic mode. So here's a very good example of one. The Scarab charging this beam during this part. There's no sound effect. I'll let you listen to that real quick actually, and I'll be right back. Okay, so as you heard there, or rather didn't hear, when the Scarab charges its beam up, it's supposed to make a charging sound, but doesn't make any sound at all. Another missing sound effect is with Hunters. When they charge their cannons, it should make a sound, but it doesn't. I'll let you listen again. Alright, so there you have it. That is the Hunters missing their charging sound effects. That's only in classic mode though. Same with the cutscene. In Anniversary, it's all fine. There's charging effects in both the Anniversary cutscene and the Anniversary Hunters. This next one has also been around for a while on Halo 2 Classic on MCC. When you shoot a ghost, like when you blow it up, in most ways, such as shooting the fuel tank or something like that, the ghost, after it's blown up, it'll have a second animation where it starts rumbling and it makes like a sound, and then it flips up in the air and explodes. Well, that's still broken on MCC, as in the animation doesn't even play at all. by comparison, on OG Halo 2 and even Halo 2 Vista PC, you would see the ghost animation play just fine. Like after it's been destroyed, it'll start shaking, and then it will freak out and then explode. But that doesn't happen on MCC anymore. It does play the sound, but it doesn't play the animation anymore. This next one has also been around for quite a bit as well, as far as I can remember. But on Mission Quarantine Zone, and I think this is the only mission you can do this on, but if you destroy a flood-controlled UNSC vehicle, like this Warthog here, it actually counts as a betrayal, which is really weird, considering the Arbiter's an elite and the vehicle belongs to the UNSC, but it's flood-controlled in the first place, so it should be like, double enemy for the Arbiter. But for some reason it counts as a betrayal, and it hasn't been fixed yet either. Now this next one is another issue, is with the terminals. So first of all, the terminals, you don't need the Halo Channel app anymore, but I will just cover that a little bit more later. But the big issue with terminals now is that if you're playing in other languages, which other people do play in other languages, the terminals are only in English at the moment. Doesn't matter what language you have set, but hopefully that gets fixed in the future as well. This next one has also been around for a while too, and because of that, I'm using an old clip for that. But the Prophet of Regret doesn't show up as an enemy to you in gameplay. I mean, on the motion tracker he does, but when you target him, your reticle doesn't turn red at all. So you can't lock onto him. You don't get any aim assist on him. Nothing like that. Now this next one, I wasn't sure what to expect going into it with MCC. It was kind of a long shot, but Halo 2 on Vista actually had a silenced SMG before ODST did. It's kind of like a hidden weapon in the game that only exists on the PC version through the map editor. And, it has like a targeting laser, it fires silenced rounds and stuff like that. But it can't be spawned on MCC anymore. In fact, if I try to spawn it by like shooting it out of a weapon, which works with pretty much everything else, once I shoot it, it freezes the game and it crashes. So silenced SMG doesn't work anymore. But that's kind of like, not really part of the core game anyways. It's kind of like a little hidden weapon, so I wasn't really expecting too much. But don't worry, MCC with Halo 2, it's not all doom and gloom. Just been also a lot of great improvements too. A lot of things work much better now, and things were fixed and new features added. So for example, with what works better, the trees on Delta Halo are now fixed for nVidia graphics. On Halo 2 PC, on Vista, I mean, all the trees are dead, just like on Cairo Station and Outskirts on MCC. So it's that's been fixed, but unfortunately it's been broken on other missions. Now this next one has been kind of a pet peeve of mine for a while. I've actually pointed out in a couple videos previously, but the jaws of elites in classic graphics for cutscenes, their bottom right jaw is always hanging down. Actually, like almost like the whole right side of the face is kind of like not working correctly, so to speak. And it was just weird because like all the elites talking every cutscene, their bottom right jaw is just hanging down. But that's been fixed now. Now it's back to how it should be. And that also affected human mouths as well. Like Johnson, he was affected by that, where he would have like a slight smirk every time he was like shown in the cutscene. Like even during serious moments, he'd be like slightly smirking. But now that's been fixed, and now he's back to how he should be. So I'm glad that's all been fixed. Another thing that's been fixed and works better now is missing dialogue. This was actually broken like somewhat recently. The dialogue during this cutscene anniversary graphics, when they approach the Scarab, the pilot was supposed to say like 30 seconds out, stand by to. The whole stand by to line is missing, and I'll let you guys listen. That's back now.
Going to tell us why. Whoa.
So that 30 seconds out line, it's still missing, but it's always been missing since the game launched. So I don't know if that's intentional or not. I guess it probably is. But at least they brought back the 30-second line, or not the 30-second, the standby to line. I've had. But anyways, this next one's also fixed a major bug that's been around for a little bit on MCC Halo 2. The Scarab skull on the mission Gravemind, whenever you combine it with the Brute Plasma Rifle, as soon as you fire it, it would actually crash your game. But that's been fixed now, and it works perfectly fine. No more crashes. So that's definitely a great thing now. You don't have to worry about using the Scarab skull while crashing the game. Now another big improvement is armor customization, and this is one that a lot of people are excited to see as well. But in old MCC, the armor customization was really basic for Halo 2, but now, I mean, it's still basic because you don't really have any armor permutations for Halo 2, but now you can like preview the changes you make to your armor color as well as the body type, so that's a definitely a big improvement there. The classic Halo 2 Classic Elite still needs work. The helmet texture is still kind of broken and hasn't been fixed since the Insider flights, but you know, that's not as bad of an issue as some of the other things. But yeah, so for Halo 2 Anniversary, you know, you could definitely see the armor preview as well a lot better now. Here's another one that's also been like a pet peeve for a little bit as well, and this one's been broken since like launch, and it's finally been fixed now. But on Halo 2 Anniversary multiplayer, whenever you set your team to either brown or pink team, and then you actually start the game up and go in game, in pretty much any game mode, those two colors are actually somewhat broken in the game. When you actually load in, I don't remember like which colors they map to exactly, but they would either be cyan or lime team instead of brown or pink. Like it actually shows brown or pink in the lobby, and it even says brown or pink like text-wise in the game, but the actual like HUD color, like here you see like the Team Slayer thing, it's pink. The actual HUD color would have been originally either cyan or lime, and that's because those colors were from Halo 4, because you know Halo 2 Anniversary is just Halo 4 essentially. It's based off of it, so those team colors they originated from Halo 4, but it's been fixed now, and now in game it shows the correct colors. Now, as I mentioned earlier, terminals have now been improved a lot. You no longer need the Halo channel, which was so annoying to switch between apps just to view a terminal. You can now view them in-game without having to switch to the Halo channel app. And yeah, I mean, that's basically pretty awesome. We finally got rid of the app, we don't need it anymore. But moving right along, this next one is with Elite Armor Lights multiplayer. This is actually one that a lot of people wanted fixed for a while, and now it's been somewhat fixed. Now you can see some Elite Armor Lights on. Like originally there were no lights at all. The armor was just completely lightless. But now you actually got some armor lights. Not all of them though. Like for example, the lights behind the legs, the orange lights are supposed to be there. They're not there anymore. They're still not there. But the other lights are now there. So that's definitely an improvement over what we had in Halo 2 previously. Now, as for what still works in general, or what now works, a lot of people were wondering if button combos and sword flying still works. And the answer to that is yes. Yes, they do, and they still work pretty well. It is a little more difficult, though, compared to the OG Xbox, because the tick rate is, like, double now, so you have, like, I'm told you have half the time to be able to do a lot of these button combos. But overall, they all still work just fine, other than being a little trickier. But it doesn't matter if you're mouse or keyboard or controller, you should be able to do all the button combos, most of them just fine, just as you used to. Just might take a little bit more practice or getting used to the new timings, but they all should still work just fine. All the classic Halo 2 button combos. Now then, this next one, Theater Mode. It wasn't at launch on MCC when Reach came out, but now we have Theater Mode finally. We don't have Forge yet, but at least we have Theater Mode now. And it's not just with Halo 2 Anniversary that supports, it also supports Halo Reach. So it's a much wanted, needed addition. Previously people could mod Theater Mode to be able to enable it on MCC, but now you don't have to mod it, it's officially there now. So you can use it conveniently. And I must say, the theater controls for mouse and keyboard, I think they're pretty good. Personally, I haven't figured out all the controls yet, but from what I could figure out so far, I'd say they work fine. The controls everything's fine with the mouse and keyboard in theater mode. But let me just show you guys a real quick example of theater mode. So here it is, I'm speeding it up, switching to third person, switching to free camera mode. It all works fine, and this is all on mouse and keyboard as well. Next thing, I'm not actually sure why this was a concern at first, but I remember before Halo 2 Anniversary came to PC, some people were concerned that it wouldn't have the anniversary graphics, or it was gonna omit the classic multiplayer as well. I'm not sure why those concerns ever came up, but just to assure you guys, everything with that works fine, Anniversary graphics works fine, classic mode is still there, classic multiplayer is still there, and so on. And the last thing I want to show that still works, if you've seen my recent videos, then you've already seen these, but I do want to show you one more time. But unlike Halo CE, cut content in Halo 2, like the Flood Juggernaut and the Warthog run, they all still work perfectly fine. And they even work in Anniversary graphics to an extent. As you can see, the Anniversary models aren't fully textured, but they still work. And same with the Warthog run. Works in classic graphics just fine, and has some Anniversary textures as well. Whereas in Halo 1, a lot of cut content, like the gravity rifle, that was totally untextured, and that was still in classic multiplayer graphics. It wasn't like Anniversary graphics or anything in CE. So Halo 2 did a much better job of preserving cut content, and that's pretty awesome as well. But yeah, so there you guys have it. That's basically all the things I can think of at the moment that still works and don't anymore, as well as stuff that works better or works worse. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if there's anything else that you think I missed that you want to point out, feel free to let me know in the comments. But other than that, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Bye guys!